Hi, I'm Threeful. I'm one of the producers that went to the producer exchange this week. I just wanted to start off by saying a huge thank you to Johnny and everyone involved in running and organising the event. It was a really, really great evening and a wonderful opportunity to meet a lot of really talented producers. The beat challenge as well was a lot of fun, and I've been asked to do a quick breakdown of the beat that I made for it. So without further ado, I'll get into it now. I'll start off by playing the original sample that we got given. So when I first heard that, the thing that hit me the most was the bass. I really liked how that kind of ebbed and flowed, and there are a few nice kind of vocal chops and things that I wanted to include too. I set it at 113 BPM. I knew it was a tempo that could kind of get your head bobbing a little bit, and I always like to start with the drums with my production because I'm a drummer, and I think the groove is really, really important and often comes from the drums. So I started off with the kick and snare, really, really off-grid, well not really, but quite off-grid, and the shaker that was behind the beat and just sidechained quite heavily. Then I went on to add a few different bits of percussion, open hi-hats, closed hi-hats, some reversed hi-hats too, and a cowbell. I really like adding reversed hi-hats to my drums. I think they're a cool way to lead between sections. I think I did that here, where I use that reverse hi-hat to act as almost a riser going into the next snare beat. So that just adds, to me, it adds a little bit more impact. Then I got a part of the sample and chopped that up to double up with the offbeat hi-hat. I know it's really, really quiet as well, and I think that's okay. I think it's good to have some kind of subtle changes in your music, especially with a bit of development, and I think it is still noticeable too. Then I went on to add the bass in. So as I mentioned earlier, I really, really like the bass in the sample itself. So I tried to incorporate that as much as possible. So this was the bass sample itself. What I ended up doing was chopping that up and repitching the notes, so I ended up with this. I also added a lot of sidechain to that to help with that pumping that I picked up on in the sample, and I think it works quite well with the drums. At the same time as working out the notes that the bass was playing, I was working on the main kind of chord interest. So I used just a stock electric piano with quite a lot of RC20 on it, and some sidechain too, and that's playing these kind of syncopated rhythms that are also really off-grid. At this point I felt I had a pretty good basis, and I think this is the point in the kind of evening that we ended up having a break, so I was quite happy with it. This was a point to pause at. After that, when we came back, I knew I wanted to add some development, so I mentioned this earlier, I added that in, and I also added this kind of like saw wave to come in a bit later on. Then I thought I should incorporate the sample a little bit more, because I felt like the bass wasn't quite enough. So I found a few different parts that I liked and chopped them up. So I really like these vocals here and here. So I added a load of reverb to those and some sidechain. I also really liked this piano chord, and I thought that was a really good way of adding a little bit more texture to the layers I had already. And there was this vocal chop as well, which I thought would be a good way to finish each phrase. So then all together I ended up with this. I then added this pitch down at the end to round things off. And that was probably in the last 10 minutes or so that I figured out I needed. Now that I'd had my original idea and added some development as I went, I needed a way to finish it off and a way to start it. So I chose that pitch bend down to end the beat, and to start off with, I was running really low on time, so I got the original bass in its original tempo, just the stem, and added this riser to it as well. So it was nothing special, but I chose that because I wanted the beginning to be almost a little bit confusing, so that when the beat came in with this short kind of snare fill, for it to hit a little bit harder. Then I went for a really, really rough and quick mix of the beat, so I just compressed, saturated, and added a bit of Oxford Inflator to my drums just to make them punch a bit more, and I didn't do much to these other than a bit of compression. And then on the master out, I automated that pitch, added some soothe, which takes out some of the really harsh frequencies. So when you're short on time, that's always quite useful, and then I quickly limited it just to get the volume up a little bit. So thank you very much for listening to my voice and listening to my beat breakdown. I hope that it's been enjoyable, and thank you once again to Johnny and everyone else.